Probably overall variability. It's just a wet, cold growing season, really unprecedented. So a lot of the stuff that you would thought was more traditional practices wasn't so true in 2019. So some of the late planting on corn worked really well. You saw tremendous corn yield. You had a great growing season during that August time frame. It was cool. You had warm Septembers. It seemed like everything opposite that you thought was practical actually worked out in 2019. And I've heard a lot of growers say they don't want to encounter another 2019 again.
The biggest surprise for this season was how well the hybrids can handle the diverse conditions they were placed in. And for that matter, the soybeans as well. We got the book thrown at us this year, and we came out on the other side. Maybe not as good as we've done we didn't have record yields, but we sure beat a lot of expectations. That was the biggest thing, just how resilient these products are to go out there and make yield even under these tough conditions.
What surprised me the most from 2019, it was obviously off to a rough start, and it actually finished out in some areas better than others, but it could have been a whole lot worse. I think a lot of us were kind of dreading harvest. We didn't know what to expect, but in a lot of cases it turned out better than it could have, and people stayed optimistic through the harvest season.
Should I be replanting corn? Because we got really late. Some of our traditional data would tell you that the yield penalty was getting really severe. That wasn't worthwhile planting late and switching maturity. So actually what we saw when they did plant late and stuck with some of their later maturities, the growing season worked out just right that they got maximum yield doing that this year.
Do I continue to invest in this crop? Do I apply fungicide? Do I need to do that extra trip in nitrogen? Do I stick to my plan? Those questions revolving around investing in the crop were the biggest questions that I got asked this year.
The most asked question for me in my position would be always around product placement. What's the best product I should be placing on these acres is usually the most asked questions.
Variable.
Unique.
I would go challenging.
I think they should not dive too much into 2019 and stay with the multi-year data approach. Those are sound agronomic recs there, and if we have too much of a knee-jerk reaction to 1 year, in the long term, those aren't good decisions. So to kind of stay in the course. There's a lot of new exciting technologies on the soybean front, so remaining calm and making the best decisions based on long-term data and looking at some of those new technologies coming out.
We need to make sure we don't become reactionary to this year. It was a new, unique year, and every year for that matter is a unique year. We need to look at best management practices that have been developed over time. Use a package of products so moving forward you can hedge your bets on what type of growing season we have.
When looking ahead to 2020, I would be keeping an open mind. With delayed planting, a lot of us went to earlier season hybrids. Years very seldom repeat themselves in sequential order, so don't think, oh gosh, I gotta crowd up to 108 rather than my 112s. I would do what we would normally do as far as maturities go. Don't crowd too early just because we might have had a late harvest, some higher corn moistures last year. Don't let that affect our 2020. Go for optimum yields and get the correct RM for your area.